Josh, how unusual is this for the NLRB to come out with a decision like this against a mega tech company?
You know, we've seen scrutiny at Apple and at a number of these leading companies in recent years. Apple was known for a long time for a relatively peaceful, at least in the public eye, relationship with workers. And we've seen in the past few years both much more public dissent from software workers at Apple and also this unprecedented wave of unionization within the retail stores. At this point, this is now one of several cases in which workers brought allegations to the labor board, and the prosecutors at the U.S. National Labor Relations Board have found merit and concluded that, in their view, the company did violate the law. And so either they've issued complaints or they will issue complaint unless the company agrees to settle. So unless the company settles, this is likely to end up before an NLRB judge, and then from there being considered by the members of the agency and potentially in federal court.
Josh, is there precedent as to how other major tech giants or Apple would handle this kind of thing? What's the likely outcome?
So Apple already in another case is denying wrongdoing and was at an NLRB trial regarding its World Trade Center store in New York, where the company argued that it doesn't suppress people's views, and in fact, it encourages workers to speak up about issues that they care about. We have seen disputes between the NLRB and tech companies, particularly Amazon recently, where Amazon has signaled it's likely to keep appealing the labor board's conclusion that workers legitimately voted to unionize in Staten Island. That is a case that could go all the way into federal court because Amazon in part was arguing to the NLRB that the NLRB itself handled the election on Staten Island in an unfair way. And for that reason, the election should be thrown out.
Josh, at what point, if at all, do we see actions like this actually impact investors and maybe even the stock price?
So the NLRB, because of the way the agency was set up, does not have punitive damage power. It does not have the ability to hold individual executives personally liable. People who watched Gossip Girl recently may have gotten the impression that union busting is something that someone can personally be criminally liable for, but in fact, the way that U.S. labor law works is not that. So what the NLRB would have the power to do is to order the company to change its policies. And there have been a series of cases involving companies, including Boeing, where a company says that rules in its handbook are neutral and not anti-union. And the NLRB argues that those rules involving things like what you can say to reporters or what you can tweet actually have the tendency to chill people's right to speak freely with coworkers about workplace issues. And so this could be a case, again, that tests that precedent about which rules that a company says are designed for civility or for secrecy that's appropriate, in fact, are found to have violated workers' collective action rights.